Alright, thought I'd do a little video here of my Mauser 98Ks. I took one of them out to the range a little while ago and had a little go with that. So, these are Mauser 98Ks. One is an Obendorf 1940, and the other one actually is a remake of a World War II German Mauser by the Yugoslavs. And I just wanted to go over a couple of the features on them. Let's go out to the range first, and then we'll come back and have a closer look at the rifles. Alright, just brought out my 1940 Obendorf Mauser just to have a little go with it at the range. I have the I think they're 190, 170 soft points. I found that this is reliable ammunition and pretty accurate, although really this isn't the fine suit of the Mauser, especially with open sights for me anymore. So let's just run 5 rounds through it and see what we get. I'm not stroking the bolt real fast because I don't want to lose my brass. I can just threw that one way over there. Very positive ejection on this rifle. Excellent reliability. See why the Germans adopted it and kept it for so long. So there you go, 1940 Obendorf Mauser. So there you see I was at the range, and probably got around about 4-inch, 5-inch groups. Not seeing my open sights as well as I used to in the past, but did okay with it, and can do better than that with a scope on the rifles. So anyways, wanted to go over some of the features of the rifle. Now the Mauser action has been in use since 1898, hence the name Mauser 98. And the earlier rifles were actually longer barrels on them. I think it was a 29-inch barrel. This has a 24-inch barrel, which is actually considered a carbine, which is what the 98K means. Yeah, Mauser 98 on that one. Some of them are marked 98K from World War I. Some of the smaller, the shorter barreled ones. So the Mauser is fed by a 5-round stripper clip. Got a pack of them here. And basically all you have to do is load them in this slot up here in the top. You can see the cutout. Put them in there, and I'm not going to strip them down because I'm in the house right now. But all you do is push on the back here, as you saw at the range, and you load 5 rounds into it at one time. Now the clip at the top, you can actually bump them forward, and it'll knock the clip right out, the stripper clip. I don't usually do that because I'm afraid of dinging up my stripper clips. But the Mauser 98 action holds 5 rounds. And let's have a look here once. I'll show you some of the neat features of it. So this, the Mauser 98 was one of the first rifles, most famous rifles, to have a bolt was all together. Like the Lee Enfields and stuff have a separate bolt head. This is made in one single piece, and it's bored out from the back. Now to take it apart, and we can show you what the looks like on the inside. Just put this in here. Take your safety. Your safety is all the way to the left is fire. All the way to the right is safe and locks the bolt so that you can travel with it without having to worry about it falling out. And the middle is still unsafe, blocks the firing pin. You can pull out the bolt release here on the side, so you pop that out. And if you're in the field and say something happens, you get your rifle all gunked up, you can actually take and twist the back part of the bolt off, and it exposes your firing pin. So you can take it out and clean it off and put it back in and hopefully get going again. You can see there, right there's where the actual firing pin comes through the bolt. And like I said before, it's made in one piece, and it's actually bored out from the back. So a revolutionary design at the time. And a couple other features here of the bolt, and just put it right back in, screw it right back together, and you're done. So like I said, you have 2 locking lugs in the front at 90 degrees. Whenever it's locked in, it's actually at the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock position. This here is a ridge that's put on actually to ride in the part of the bolt in the top, just to keep it from binding, so it rides smoother because of that. All the way in the back here is a little lug, and this is considered a safety lug. Safety lug was made so that if something happened, say your bore got plugged up with dirt and you fired it and blew up the rifle and wrecked the action, this here lug hopefully would save you from having the bolt come back in your face and killing you. So it was a very important feature. Like I said, you can just take this thing apart very easily. Now, let's see here. Once we'll put that back in, show you a couple features of the rifles themselves. Tangent sight on the back goes all the way up to 2,000 meters. And you can see here, you can actually lift up the sight whenever you're in a prone position. You can see the graduations actually, so you don't have to stick your head up to adjust it. Just move it back if you want to, and it raises up your tangent sight. Very cool system. And actually, I've seen some people have tested that, and it is pretty accurate as far as getting it to the range that you want it. Has a 2-stage trigger on it, and most of the rifles I have actually has had a pretty decent trigger on it. In the back, here's a cool feature on each one of these rifles. They have a disc in the back that you can actually take apart your bolt, like I showed you before. Your firing pin comes out, and this thing here is actually made to put the front end of your bolt in, and then you push down on this, and you can actually disassemble the entire firing pin mechanism if you needed to replace a spring or actually even replace the firing pin. I know I bought one rifle that had the firing pin broken off in the front, so that's something that you can do. A couple other of the safety features of the bolt is the gas vent holes here. So the bolt, whenever it's in and it's locked, is up straight like this. And if you have a pierced primer, some of the older designs, the gas from the primer could go all the way through the bolt out the back here and actually smack into the person's face and get all kinds of like pieces of copper and stuff in their face. So the Germans, the Mauser, put in these 2 little vent holes here. So it would actually help to get some of the junk out of there, and it would blow out into the action. Related to that is actually the back of the bolt here, as it's sitting in. You see this big flange here. The earlier ones didn't have this flange, and the idea of the flange is the gas would travel down the bolt or alongside of the bolt in the action, and that flange is enough to actually deflect some of the particles and some of the force of the blast of either a ruptured case or a ruptured primer, and keep the user from getting injured. And another big feature about the bolt in the Mauser is the big extractor claw. So this thing here actually is spring-loaded. It attaches right here, and it actually is springy so that it can hold on to the rim. So the rim of the cartridge goes in here, and you can see how big or how much of the rim actually, here, let's grab one, actually is held onto the cartridge. And you can see there, it goes over quite a bit of the cartridge. So it is a very reliable action for actually extracting the cartridge or extracting the empty case from the chamber. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things they even talk about today is control round feed, because this actually picks it up, comes in from the bottom as it's being stripped out of the magazine and goes right up into there. And so you have control round feed. So if you double stroke or you short stroke the thing, you won't actually, you won't get a double feed. So you could short stroke some actions, and whenever it doesn't lock in, you pull back again, and then you grab another cartridge out of the magazine, and then you double feed. This one is supposed to be proof from that, because it grabs it and it holds on to it until you actually come back and hit the ejector, which comes through here, and ping, throws out your cartridge. This rifle here actually has a reinforcing bolt right here, which you'll see on some rifles to prevent any kind of cracking of the bolt. I'm sorry, of the stock, because sometimes you can get a crack right here in the back. The Sling is an interesting device because it mounts to the side, and actually I've used one of these for hunting on one of my other rifles that was sporterized. So it mounts on the side and goes through the stock like that, and then has a buckle on the other end. Kind of a really weird system, but it actually works very well. And I have it on a sporterized Mauser, and it is very secure, and it actually makes it pretty cool that you can move it and put it on your back. Some of the things you can collect with them, this here is a box of original ammunition from the 1940s. Still works, and that's actually the ammunition that I have in this clip here. And usually they're 196 grains. Other kind of collectibles you can get is magazine pouch. This will actually hold, I believe it's 3 in each one of these. So that give you 30, and then I think 45 cartridges. And on the back they usually have the maker's marks on them. But again, really cool rifle. This one here actually I'm going to end up selling in the next couple weeks. just because I bought some other stuff and need to pay for it. But bought these whenever they were very low price, and the prices are going up, but they're still very reasonable for what you get from them. So anyways, that's just some of the basic features of the Mausers. I actually have another one that I'm going to put a scope on it. And I know that I had a pistol scope on it for a while on a no drill mount, and it was very accurate, about a 1 inch. So next couple months I'm going to get that one together, and then I'm going to do some hand loads and try to get it to see just how much accuracy I can get out of one of these old military rifles. Alright, thank you for watching, and if you like my videos, please subscribe, and out.